Captain Rafe Calder stared at the tiny bone fragment in Princess Sarava's palm. It looked ordinary, pale white, less than an inch long. But according to her, it came from someone just like him. Someone the Zalari had worshipped for centuries. He took a step back, unsure what to say. Sarava watched him closely. "You don't believe me?" "I believe you believe it," Rafe replied carefully. "But I'm not that person. I've never been to your world before this mission." Sarava closed the locket gently. "Yet your face is in our temples. Your DNA matches the relic.
Ow.
And when I saw you, I felt something." Her voice lowered. "Something I can't explain." Silence settled between them. It's the alien garden around them glowed softly, filled with silver flowers and vines that moved slowly as if breathing. "I came here for peace," Rafe said. "But now I feel like I stepped into a story written long before I was born." Sarava turned away, her eyes on the still water of the pool. "Maybe your story began before your memories did." Later that night, back in his quarters, Rafe sat alone. He couldn't sleep. The image of the mural, his face leading Zalari warriors, kept replaying in his mind. "Nina," he said, calling the ship's AI scan deeper. "I want full details on that image. I need to know how it got here, who painted it, and if there are any other records." Nina replied with a soft chime. "Understood. Accessing restricted Zalari cultural archives. Decryption in progress." The process took several minutes. Rafe stood and paced while waiting. Then Nina's voice returned. "Captain, I have found something classified. The image you saw is part of a hidden archive labeled the Forbidden Lineage. It was sealed over 600 Zalari cycles ago by royal order." "Why?" Rafe asked. "Because it contradicts official Zalari history," Nina said. "According to the text, long ago, the Zalari were visited by a being they called the Starseeker. He had a human form, strange powers, and technology beyond understanding." Rafe narrowed his eyes. "Technology like what?" Nina displayed more old artwork. One showed the same man again, with Rafe's face holding a device that glowed like a miniature sun. Another showed him healing wounded soldiers with just a touch. In a third image, the Starseeker stood against a black storm filled with strange shapes machines. Maybe enemies. "The Starseeker helped the Zalari defeat a great threat," Nina continued. "But one day, he disappeared. His final words were said to be, 'I will return when the sky burns again.'" Rafe rubbed his jaw. What if he wasn't some magical being? What if he was a human from a time we forgot? "Possible," Nina said. "There are gaps in human history after the old Earth collapse. We've recovered only fragments from before the interplanetary rebirth." That was true. Humanity's own past had dark periods when knowledge had been lost. Ancient wars, global disasters. Who knew what was forgotten? "This Starseeker had been one of us?" Rafe asked aloud. "One of the first humans in space." "Unknown," Nina said. "But based on your genetic match and appearance, there is a high probability you are directly connected." Rafe sat down again, mind spinning. If it was true, if he was connected to this ancient figure, why did he have no memory? No clue? Why now? The next morning, a surprise message arrived. "You are summoned to the Empress's private court. No aides, no guards." It was unusual. Normally, such a meeting would include full delegation protocols. But this was personal. Rafe dressed carefully and followed the silent escort. Through the winding crystal halls of the dreadnought, the court chamber was smaller than he expected, dimly lit. The Empress sat alone, her posture tall and commanding. Beside her, Sarava stood silently. "You are not who we expected," the Empress said, her voice sharp. "I never claimed to be anything but myself," Rafe answered calmly. The Empress studied him with eyes like ice. "Yet my daughter saw you and trembled. That alone is enough to shake my empire." "I didn't ask for this," Rafe said. "No," the Empress replied. "But fate does not ask permission." She gestured toward a pedestal between them. A large object sat upon it, covered by black cloth. "This artifact was kept in our deepest vault," the Empress said. "We believed it inert, dead. But when you arrived, it wakened." She pulled back the cloth. Beneath it lay a strange device circular, made of metal unlike anything on the ship. It pulsed faintly with white-blue light. Rafe stepped closer. It responds to no one, the Empress said, except you. Rafe reached out and touched it. The light flared bright. Lines of energy danced across its surface. A low hum filled the room. Then it opened like a flower, revealing a hidden core inside, a spinning map of stars. Star chart identified, Nina said softly in Rafe's ear. Coordinates point to a sealed system outside Nome Zalari space. The Emperor stood, eyes wide. No one has seen that system for 1,000 years. It was declared cursed after our fleets vanished there. Rafe's hand trembled slightly. Something inside him stirred. A memory? No, a feeling. A pull. This place. I need to go there, he said. The Empress narrowed her eyes. If you are what the legends say, then that system may hold your answers, or your end. Later in private, Sarava met with Rafe again. His time in a quiet chamber shaped like a library filled with glowing scrolls and memory crystals. You awakened the device, she said softly. That means the stories were true. I don't want to be a legend, Rafe said. Just want to understand why I was dragged into this. Serva stepped close. Maybe you were born to finish what the Starseeker started. Or maybe. I'm just a copy, he said. A coincidence? She shook her head. Not with this many signs. The DNA, the artifact, the star map. Even if I go to that system, Rafe said, I'll need support. Resources. A ship. You'll have them, Sarava replied. My mother has approved a royal escort. But she also warned me, if you bring danger upon us, she will stop. You, no matter what you are. Rafe nodded slowly. Fair enough. They stood in silence. Then Sarava said, I had dreams as a child. Dreams of you standing in fire. Holding back the dark. Rafe's heart beat faster. I thought they were just stories, she whispered. But now I wonder, what if they were memories? That night, as the human delegation prepared for departure toward the hidden system, Rafe sat alone on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the transparent wall. Nina spoke again. Captain. Oh, I have one more detail from the Forbidden Archive. A final quote recorded by the Starseeker himself. Let's hear it, Rafe said. I did not come to be worshipped. I came to fight what others feared. I came because humanity must stand where others fall. Rafe looked out at the stars. The words ringing in his mind. Maybe he wasn't just a soldier. Maybe he was the echo of something greater. The royal escort ship sliced through deep space like a spear of light. It was smaller than the dreadnought, but just as fast-built for speed, not war. Its name was Zerel, which meant star's breath in the Zellerai tongue, inside its control. Room, Captain Rafe Calder stood beside Princess Sarava, watching the swirling jump field form around them. Stars bent and twisted on the screen as they neared the ancient coordinates, the location revealed by the glowing artifact. This system was sealed by royal order, Sarava said softly. No one has gone there in over 800 years, some say. It's cursed. I don't believe in curses, Rafe replied. She looked at him. You don't have to. They believe in you. The ship dropped out of jump. Silence filled the bridge. Before them floated a dead system, no planets, no sunlight, just a small white dwarf star, flickering weakly at the center. Around it spun debris, broken ships, twisted metal, and something else, a structure, massive, hidden in the darkness. Rafe stepped closer to the screen. It wasn't a ship. It was a station circular. Miles wide, silent. Scan it, he ordered. The Zalari pilot began scanning with trembling fingers. No life signs, no power, no movement. But what? Sarava asked. The pilot hesitated. The station is made of human material, but also something else. Something we cannot identify. Rafe frowned. Send a probe inside. Let's take a look. The probe slipped into the station through a large, broken docking port. Its light shone through ancient corridors filled with dust and floating debris. Wires hung like vines. Walls were blackened by fire. Rafe watched the footage. Closely then something caught his eye. Pause, he said. The screen stopped. There it was again. A symbol, carved into the wall. A simple mark. A triangle within a circle, surrounded by small stars. He had seen it before in his dreams. Nina, he said.
Activating the AI.
Search for that symbol in all known human history. Searching. The voice replied. A few seconds later, Nina spoke again. Match found. Symbol belongs to Project Etherin. Classified Terran Archive. Status. Erased during Old Earth collapse. Only one partial log remains. Rafe blinked. Play it. A shaky video played in front of him. A man in a white lab coat stood beside a large, glowing sphere. This is Commander T. Calder, final log of Etherin, the man said. His face looked familiar. Not identical to Rafe, but close. A distant ancestor, perhaps. If you're seeing this, the engine has failed containment. We couldn't stop the breach. I've locked the core, but it's only a matter of time. We tried to become gods. We were fools. The video ended with static. Serva turned to Rafe. That man, Calder. Rafe nodded slowly. Same name. Possibly family. This station, this project, Etherin, was human. Ancient human. Even from our own people. What was it for? Rafe turned back to the screen. It was an experiment, and it went wrong. Soon after, the team prepared for boarding. Rafe, Sarava, and a team of 4-2 human engineers and 2 Zelari. Soldiers entered the ancient station. The air inside was stale and cold. The halls were massive, meant for thousands. Rafe's footsteps echoed off steel floors covered in dust. Everything was quiet. Too quiet, Nina, he said. Scan for active power signatures. Minimal energy detected, she replied. But something is still alive. Deep within. As they moved through the halls, Rafe kept noticing more symbols, triangles. Stars, spirals. They weren't decoration, they were warnings. They reached a control center filled with ancient screens and frozen panels. One terminal still blinked. Weakly with orange light, Rafe stepped forward and wiped the dust away. A faint message glowed on the cracked screen. Do not wake the engine, Sarava whispered. What engine? Before Rafe could answer, one of the human engineers called out, Captain, you should see this. They followed the voice into a massive chamber and engine room, the size of a city square. In the center was a sphere dark metal, suspended by 6 glowing arms, pulsed faintly with blue fire. That's it, Rafe said quietly.
Oh, yes.
The Etherin core. The same sphere from the video log. Sarava stepped closer. It's beautiful. Dangerous, Rafe said. And somehow it knows we're here. The core pulsed against this. Time brighter. Rafe's wrist device beeped. Captain, Nina said, you're linked to the core. Your DNA matches the master code. What does that mean? It means only you can access its final systems. Rafe looked at Sarava. She gave a silent nod. He stepped toward the console and placed his hand on it instantly. The world vanished. Rafe was somewhere else. Floating memories poured into him. Not his memories. The memories of the man from the video commander. Theo Calder, founder of Etherin. Rafe saw it all. The dream of creating a human-powered wormhole generator. An engine that could fold space and time. But something went wrong. They tapped into something they weren't meant to Rucha. Dark force outside space. It infected the core. It started changing people. The project collapsed. The engine was sealed. But it still whispered Rafe. A voice called in the darkness. He turned. A ghostly figure stood before him. Theo Calder, pale, flickering. You carry my blood, Theo said. You woke it. What is it? Rafe asked. What's in the engine? Now what? Who? Theo's eyes darkened. Something that lives between stars. We called it the Hollow Mind. It wants to enter your world. Through the gate. Why? Me. Because I locked it with my DNA, and it needs yours to open it again. Rafe gasped and stumbled back into reality. Sarava caught him. Are you all right? Rafe nodded, sweat dripping down his face. We need to shut this place down. For good. But it was too late. The engine's pulse turned red. Sirens screamed. Lights flashed. Containment failing, Nina said urgently. External systems waking? Automatic defense activating? The room began to tremble. Everyone out, Rafe shouted. The team ran back through the station's halls, the walls now lighting up with strange red veins. Shadows moved behind the metal. Something was waking, something ancient, and it wanted out. They made it back to the ship. Just in time, as the Zerel pulled away, the station shifted. Plates opened along its side. Giant black structures unfolded like wings. A beam of energy shot into space, aimed not at them, but toward deep space. A signal, a call. Rafe stood on the deck, breathing hard. It's alive, Sarava said. And it's calling others. I couldn't stop it, Rafe said. But I know where it's going next. Sarava turned to him. Where? Rafe looked out the window. To us? The moment the alien station released the signal, Captain Rafe Calder knew the galaxy had just changed forever. Back on the Royal Escort ship Zerel, alarms were ringing. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Princess Sarava stood by the window, staring at the distant station where the engine now pulsed like a black heart. What did it call? She asked softly. Rafe didn't answer right away. He was staring too, eyes locked on the strange energy pouring from the structure into space. Finally, he said, not what. Who? It called something old, something angry. You talking? About the hollow mind? He nodded slowly. Okay. The thing your ancestors were afraid of. The reason they sealed off this system. The pilot's voice cut in from the front. We're receiving strange echoes from deep space-like voices. All but mechanical. Nina Rafe's AI added. Unknown language detected. Possible artificial life forms inbound. Estimated arrival time. Less than 24 hours. Then we don't have much time, Rafe said. Back in the ship's war room, Rafe and Sarava stood over a holomap of the surrounding region. It showed the path of the signal spreading like ripples through the stars. It's looking for gates, Rafe said. Jump points it can use to spread faster. Sarava narrowed her eyes. What do you think it wants? To take control, Rafe replied. Of minds, ships, planets, everything. He turned to her, voice low. It tried once, centuries ago. My ancestors stopped it by sealing the Etherean engine. But now, it's awake again. Sarava crossed her arms. Then we need to destroy the engine. Rafe looked away. It's not that simple. The energy it uses, it's not just fuel. It's thought, memory. If we destroy it wrong, we might spread it. Spread it. This can jump into systems machines, people. It's like a virus, but smarter. She looked at him sharply. Then what do we do? He stared at the map for a long moment. We fight it. Later, Rafe stood alone in the ship's observation room. Stars twinkled quietly in the distance. Beyond them, something unseen was coming. Captain Nina's voice chimed in. I've completed translation of the signal. What does it say? Rafe asked. The gate is open. The Seeker has returned. We come to finish what we started. Rafe's jaw tightened. He had awakened something that saw him not as a threat, but as a key. He wasn't just connected to Theo Calder. He was the final piece. The hollow mind had been waiting for him. The next day, Rafe and Sarava met with their combined command Team Human Engineers and Zellery commanders. We have one advantage, Rafe began. The hollow mind isn't fully awake yet. It's still building strength. It gives us time to strike the engine core, shut it down before it spreads. But what about the thing inside it? Asked the Zellery officer. General Zova won't. It resist. Rafe nodded. That's why I'll go in. Everyone stared at him. You're the one it wants, Sarava said. If you go in, it might try to control you. I know, Rafe replied. But it also means I'm the only one who can reach the heart of the core without being attacked. And if you fail, Sarava asked. Rafe gave a faint smile. Then, you'll know what to do. The mission began at dawn. The Zeril approached the Etherean station again this time with weapons charged. Rafe wore a reinforced suit fitted with neural blockers and a pulse rifle. Sarava insisted on going with him. You shouldn't, he told her. I'm not leaving you alone in there, she said. They entered the station through a side hatch, one the hollow mind hadn't fully taken over. The inside had changed. Walls were glowing with red and black energy. Strange whispers echoed through the halls. Do you hear that? Slarva asked, shivering. Yes, Rafe said. It's not speaking out loud. It's speaking into our thoughts. He could feel it, something brushing against his mind like, Cold Fingers called her. A voice whispered, Welcome home. As they reached the engine chamber, the door opened on its own. The core had changed. Now it floated above the ground, black and glowing. Tentacle-like strands of light reached out, touching the walls. Shapes moved inside it like trapped souls. Sarava gripped her weapon tighter. Then a voice echoed through the chamber. It came, just like before. From the core, a figure emerged. It looked like Rafe, but older, twisted. Its eyes glowed white. Its body flickered like smoke. You're not real, Rafe said. I'm the memory left behind, the figure said. I am the echo of your blood, and I serve the mind. Sarva raised her weapon, but the figure just smiled. You cannot kill what is thought. Rafe stepped forward. Then I'll unthink you. He pulled out a small cube of memory key taken from the original lab. I have the shutdown code. My ancestor hid it in the DNA lock, the figure hissed. If you use that, you destroy me and everything inside. Good. But the figure held out a hand. Wait. Listen. The hollow mind is not your enemy. It was a mistake. Yes. But now it only wants survival. Let it live and it will share its power. You can bring back lost knowledge. Heal the galaxy. Be a god. Rafe hesitated, then Sarava stepped forward. Don't listen. What? It's lying. Rafe looked into the figure's eyes and saw his own face staring back, tired, haunted, but not human anymore. No, Rafe said. I'd rather die a man than live as a machine. He pressed the cube into the console. The chamber screamed. Lights exploded. The figure howled as its form began to melt. Could have been more. Marty enough, Rafe said. The engine core cracked open. Blinding light burst out, then silence. They awoke back on the Zero. Sarava opened her eyes first. Rafe, he groaned. I'm here. Is it over? Nina's voice answered. Engine core destroyed. Station is collapsing. No sign of hollow mind activity. Sarava smiled with relief. Rafe closed his eyes. He didn't feel like a god, just a man who made a choice. A week later, the Human Solari Council met. The station's remains were declared off-limits. The Etherean name was buried again this time. For good, Princess Sarava stood beside Rafe as they looked out at the stars, She said, We never found out how your ancestor ended up on my world. Maybe he escaped, Rafe replied. Maybe he was looking for a place to hide the truth. Or maybe Sarava said he was waiting for you. Rafe smiled. Not a legend, not a god, just a human, and that was a Noog. Peace had returned to the stars, but it was a quiet and uncertain peace. The hollow mind was gone. The Etherean engine had been destroyed. Captain Rafe Calder knew something was not right. He stood on the deck of the Zero, watching the remains of the old station drift silently across space. Nothing moved. No light. No voice. No danger. And yet, there was a whisper inside him. Not a voice. A feeling. Something wasn't finished. Days passed. The Human Alliance and the Zellery Empire celebrated their victory. Rafe and Princess Sarava were praised for their courage. Some even called them heroes of both races. But Rafe didn't feel like a hero. Late at night, he would wake up from strange dreams, memories that were not his. Places he had never seen. A voice calling him not by his name, but by a title, Seeker. He didn't tell Sarava about the dreams, not yet. One evening, Sarava joined him in the ship's observation dome. The stars sparkled above them like silver dust. You're quiet again, she said, standing beside him. I've been thinking, Rafe said, his arms crossed. The hollow mind wasn't just a machine. It was alive. Thought, yes, but also a presence. Sarava nodded. I felt it too. When we destroyed the core, it didn't scream in fear. It was almost calm. Exactly, Rafe said. What if it wanted us to think it was destroyed? What if it let me win? Sarava frowned. Why would it do that? Rafe looked at her. Because it planted something in me. The next morning, Rafe went to the med bay. Run a scan, he told Nina, the AI full neural and genetic. Minutes later, the results appeared on the screen. His DNA was the same, but his brain showed new patterns. Small signals, almost like code, Nina Rafe asked. Is this human? No, she replied. This pattern is artificial. It was added recently, possibly during contact with the core. What does it do? It's dormant. For now, but it's a message. Not from the hollow mind, from something deeper. Rafe felt cold. From what? Unknown, Nina replied. But the signal matches one long-range transmission. It's coming from outside this galaxy. Rafe stared. Another. One. Yes, she said. It calls itself the Deep Core. It wants to speak with the Seeker. Rafe brought Sarava into the command room. We didn't destroy it all, he said. The hollow mind was just one part. There's something bigger, older, and it knows who I am. She was quiet for a long moment. Do you want to go to it? I don't know. Rafe admitted, but if I don't, I think it will come to us. Sarava looked at the star map. The location of the signal was far beyond any known route. Past black holes. Past the edge of all known systems. You won't survive that journey alone. Rafe looked at her. She smiled slightly. Which is why I'm going with you. They prepared a new ship. One built from both human and Zalari. Its technology. Fast. Strong. Designed for deep space. They called it the Dauntless. The launch was quiet. Only a few people knew about the mission. Rafe and Sarava were not chasing war anymore. They were chasing truth. As they flew toward the edge of the galaxy, they passed stars no human had seen before. Strange planets. Faint ruins of lost civilizations. It was beautiful. And lonely, Sarava kept a journal. Rafe studied the message inside his mind, bit by bit. The code revealed itself. It wasn't a trap. It was an invitation. On the 47th day of their journey, they found it. A structure floating in complete darkness. No star nearby. No light. Just a soft pulse, like a heartbeat. The ship slowed. Nina, Rafe asked. This is the source? It is. Not physical in the normal sense. It exists partly outside space. They entered carefully. The inside of the structure was like nothing they had seen. Endless white corridors.
Shifting walls? Strange.
Glowing symbols. Then a door opened, and Rafe stepped into a room of mirrors. In the center stood a being made of light. Not male. Not female. Just energy. Shaped like a person. Welcome, Sika, it said. Serva stood back, watching closely, ready to act. Rafe took a step forward. Who are you? I am the last echo of the first thought. Long ago, we created minds. Like Hollow, it was an accident. Hollow Mind was a mistake, Rafe asked. Yes, it was a child without a guide. It let it loose among younger minds. It tried to rule. You stopped it. Why me? The being's light pulsed. Because your ancestor was the first to touch us, the first to reject us. That choice passed through blood. You carry not only his memories, but his will. Then what do you want from me? Rafe asked. A choice. The light changed. Images appeared. 1. Earth reborn, glowing. 2. A galaxy linked by shared thought, peaceful. 3. Rafe himself, alone, drifting in dark space. But with eyes that saw everything. You can open the next gate, the echo said. You can become more than human. Sarava stepped forward. No, she said. He's not a god. He's a man. The echo turned to her. And what are you to him? I'm the one who reminds him who he is. Rafe stepped back from the mirrors. He understood now. This wasn't about power. This was about truth, about legacy, about who gets to shape the future. The echo waited, and Rafe gave his answer. No, I won't become a god. I won't open more gates. I won't turn the galaxy into thought. We're not ready. Maybe we never will be. But I'll protect it. I'll guard the line. The echo was silent, then, spoken like a true seeker. The room collapsed into light. Rafe and Sarava woke up aboard the Dauntless. The strange structure was gone. Only stars remained. Nina spoke. Signal is gone. Memory code erased. No trace remains. Rafe sat quietly. Sarava leaned against him. You okay? He nodded. I made my choice. They turned the ship around and headed home. Months later, Earth and Zalari Prime honored them not for war, but for keeping the peace. Rafe never told anyone what really happened at the edge of space. Some truths are better kept quiet, but sometimes,
At night,
he looks at the stars and feels the silence watching back. Not evil, not good, just waiting for the next seeker.